Students disgusted by what they're being served are taking their beef online. Can you even tell what this is?
Nope.
Apparently, it's supposed to be a chicken cheesesteak sandwich.
Look at this.
It was nothing chicken about that motherfucker, man. God damn. They call that shit chicken? Run that back.
What they're being served are taking their beef online. Can you even tell what this
I went to school in Philly and our shit wasn't this fucking bad. That's embarrassing. That's fucking embarrassing. Oh, God. They fucking,
is? Apparently, it's supposed to be a chicken cheesesteak sandwich.
Look at this. This is the main meal. It looks like puke and applesauce.
Phoebe
I
cut
thought
into
about
her
to say
food,
puke and ass.
and it was all pink. So while I was eating my chicken sandwich, I finally looked into it, and it had like pink lines running through it. It was just bright pink. The orange was cut into, and it was moldy and black and gross. It was horrible.
I was eating the chips, and then I look in the bag, and there's like this fried little black thing in there. Don't know what it was. It was really gross. Like I just stopped eating after that.
It ain't no love in that shit. It ain't no love in that shit.
School lunch is...
If you ain't noticed a school lunch, right? If you ain't noticed a school lunch at all, what would you think this shit was? That shit's fucking prison food, man. That shit is fucking prison food. That shit looks straight out of cell block. Never mind.
Sometimes it's okay, but other times I just don't know what I'm eating.
We'll be in school for like till 4 o'clock, and then when we do have lunch, it's at 1 o'clock. So people be hungry. So I'm getting online, got my food, and it was on this tortilla bed, and I didn't know what it was. So that's the worst kind of food, when you don't know what it is. It doesn't even look good. Couldn't eat it. My conscience won't let me.
There are 17 million American children that could literally go hungry every day that they're not in school, because the only access they get to food at all is school food.
When I go down there and we're serving it, I know that I don't want to eat it and that I don't think it's healthy, but yet I'm serving it to 600 kids.
50% of children between the ages of 2 and 15 have fatty streaks in their arteries, and this is literally the beginning stages of heart disease.
And if they're eating junk food in schools, then the schools are telling them that that's okay, it's appropriate, it's what happens in schools. That's not right.
But we've had officials in the Department of Education and the Office of School Food tell us that they have to keep their numbers up for the lunches, that they're in the business of serving lunch. And they want to give the children what they want.
Schools typically have no idea where most of the food that they're serving children comes from.
I know where it come from. This shit come from Cisco. I used to see that big ass truck parked outside the school and shit. That's that Cisco meal. That's Cisco lunch.
Yes. American school lunches.
Yes.
While countries like France are feeding their kids stuff like this.
Scallops with a curry sauce.
Curry sauce avec de la crème fraîche.
Wow. And what, carrots?
Ça, c'est la coquille de Saint-Jacques.
Oh, okay.
And this was just the appetizer.
It's a 4-course meal. Kids will start off with some grapefruit here, followed by veal with prunes and mushrooms, organic, and spinach and rice, also organic. Then they'll have some cheese because this is France after all. And for dessert, an organic banana.
Over here in America, we have fond memories of soggy rectangular pizza, chocolate milk in a plastic bag, smiley French fries dipped in
fries, the smileys. Yeah, yo, man, give it up for the smileys, dog. Give it up for the smileys. Getting us through the day since, man, 03, 02, 01, whenever the fuck I was in school, man. It was a long time ago. But that shit used to make the day. That milk in the bag shit is a little wild. You see a piece of that glizzy right there? A little smidge of the glizzy on there, you know what I mean? You can never go wrong with the glizzy. You can't fuck a glizzy up.
seed oil-filled ketchup. Nachos drenched in that signature cheese-like substance.
We didn't get that.
And if you were a rich kid, maybe you could even afford the coveted Domino's pizza slice.
Domino's pizza. I like Domino's.
We ain't get no fucking Domino's.
Amazing.
When you see what's in the cafeterias now, you can't blame the lunch workers. They don't have anything but an Alto-Shaam to heat food up to a safe temperature, and it's barely food at that.
You got Sloppy Joe, barbecue sauce with pork.
Whatever happened to cooks actually cooking?
It's easy to come in here. This is the best tool we got right here. Box open.
That's your chef's tool.
That's it.
Oh,
Open
my
up the
word.
box. Serve it. Give it to them.
Yeah. Out of the course of
my
an entire
word.
month, 6 out of 36. You're only cooking 6 out of 36 meals.
But why? Why is American school lunch this disgusting?
Schools tell us that they're seeing a 50% increase in the amount of lunchroom trash.
Kids are now throwing away twice as much food as last year.
Waste goes up.
You know
Waste
what,
goes up.
man? What has any adult like eating this shit? Any teacher go down there and be like, let me see what these kids getting into, have a little taste, a little nibble or something? That shit is disgusting. It looks disgusting. I think the teachers in there, I think all the teachers in the staff should have to eat the school lunch too.
About
Make it
97%.
fair.
We visited a school in suburban Chicago just this month where middle schoolers analyzed their lunch waste and were shocked to find 46 boxes of unopened pears.
They're all unopened, totally unopened.
Oh, I eat pears now, shit like that. Shout out to all the pear. Look at that thick
If
ass
the youth
milk.
are our future, why are schools knowingly force-feeding our youth the worst possible food on this planet?
Because they don't
One
give
of
a
the
fuck
things
about
that
the
we're
kids.
surprised by was a particular kind of chicken. And this is meat from egg-laying birds that have been retired, that are no longer producing eggs. And nobody really uses them much on the commercial market. Even Kentucky Fried Chicken to McDonald's declines to buy this stuff. It is, in some cases, commonly sold to the pet food industry. The school lunch program bought a lot of it, tried using it in patties, using it in salad.
Oh, they feeding the kids cat and dog food. Oh, they not the kids. They was feeding us cat and dog food. Oh, hell no! I was eating that Caesars. That
and that
Caesars
kind of thing.
leg of lamb.
Well, school lunches have a long and profitable history in America. And to answer that question, we need to take a trip back to World War II.
It's always about a fucking dollar, man.
This
They
could
don't give
be
a fuck about
the
kids
first
or us.
generation
They
of
just care
children in
about
the United
money.
States that lives less than its parents.
Nobody is safe
Damn,
from the
shit go that
dangers
far
of the
back?
child obesity epidemic.
Child big bag epidemic. This shit is sad. I'm so sad for these kids. I'm so glad I don't gotta eat school lunch no more.
The year is 1945. America had just won
That's when
World
I
War
was
II,
born.
but America was about to enter another war, the Cold War.
Damn, nah, you remember this?
And in order to have a fraction of a chance of winning, the US military
It's all good,
knew
babe.
they would need
Yeah,
the
man.
strongest, toughest men available. But surprisingly, they couldn't really find any. See, before World War II, the US just came out of a devastating depression. You know the one. After eating a solid
Great
diet
Depression.
of water pies, peanut loaves, and canned prunes for
What the
10
fuck?
years,
The fuck is water pie?
World War II, the US just came out of a devastating depression. You know the one. After eating a solid diet of water pies, peanut loaves, and
What the fuck is water pie? I'm gonna have to look that shit up.
canned prunes for 10 years, the men of America were looking
Look at 'em,
not so hot.
bony. They
So
ain't fighting
General
shit.
Lewis B. Hershey, a former school principal who joined the armed forces
That's crazy.
before
Hey,
World War
man,
I,
listen.
went in front of the House Agriculture
1945.
Committee to deliver a stern warning. General Hershey was head of the military
shall be
draft
kept.
system, and he warned that 40% of military recruits were failing
Is
their
something
physical
happening? Is it
exams
blurred
due
out?
to malnutrition. And with impending war on the horizon with the Soviet Union, if the government didn't do something about this fast, the US might never stand a chance. So, the government came to the rescue. And they launched an emergency nationwide feeding program called the National School Lunch Act.
They
In
started
their eyes,
early.
the National School Lunch Act was a matter of national security to safeguard the health and well-being of the nation's children. And it would ensure that the government had more effective pawns that could be used in the war machine. See? Everybody wins. So the government started sending food to schools all over the US. And where did they get this food? Farm surpluses. Whatever farmers had too much of, they would ship it to schools and the kids would eat. There was no need for a balanced diet. This was wartime. It was all about using what the nation had, maximizing calories and breeding good little soldiers. And guess what? The program actually worked. The children got stronger. And
strong
America
as shit. They
became
stronger
one of
than
the
the
biggest
motherfuckers in the
military
army.
superpowers in the world. And as the decades went on, the National School Lunch Program would just keep getting bigger and bigger. And soon, what started as a way to groom nourished soldiers of war turned into a political tool.
There are poor children in this country that can't afford lunch. Free school lunches are a basic human right. Vote for me and I'll give it to them.
And vote they did. By 1969, 15% of American children were getting a school lunch for free or at a highly discounted price. And in the mid-1970s, Richard Nixon poured even more money into the school lunch program. So now, the standard was set. Parents were used to their kids getting fed at school. Parents now expected schools to keep feeding their children no matter what. And those same schools were now dependent on the government to keep sending them money for lunches. There was no going back.
Boy Scouts.
So when there was a giant funding cut for the National School Lunch Program in 1981, American public schools were left in a bit of a pickle.
Aw, he looks hungry. Who is that? Is that Reagan? Is that Reagan? Who is that? That's Reagan? My guess is Reagan.
The fact is, we'll never build a lasting economic recovery by going deeper into debt at a faster rate than we ever have before.
In 1981, U.S. President Ronald Reagan cut funding for the National School Lunch Program by around 25%, which was...
Whoa, President Reagan trimmed $1.4 billion from $5.66 billion earmarked for Children's Nutrition Program. Damn. Critics of the cutback pointed out that the money saved roughly equals $1.44 billion spent last year in the federal subside for the Pentagon's 5 executive dining rooms for military officers. Oh, shit. That's a lot of money, though. Is that a year? Is that a year? Spent last year. Damn.
A massive number. Now, schools couldn't afford to feed 1 out of every 4 students. So the ripple effects were massive.
Hold on. Was it more people going to school back then? Or is it more people going to school now? I would assume it's more people going to school now than it was back then. Only because I think it's more people now than it was back then. I don't know, man. Some of the shit was better. They got good-ass food back then. They got to drink and drive, then drink again while they driving. I don't know, but they was doing some wild shit. They got to smoke indoors. It was a lot of shit, good shit.
Schools were left with less money to spend on food, wages, and equipment while still having to feed the same number of mouths.
Damn,
so schools either had to find a way to reduce costs fast, or they would have to shrink lunch portions, reducing the number of poor children eligible for free or reduced lunch, or famously declare that ketchup was a vegetable in order to meet nutrition standards, as recommended by the government. But as they say, massive problems offer massive opportunities to make money. And as a big food conglomerate, this was your perfect opportunity to swoop in to save America's youth.
They tried that already, and now they hungry again. Tyson's chicken nuggets, you know what I mean? The T.Y. son, you know what I'm saying?
As a big food conglomerate, you obviously want to make as much money as you possibly can. But the problem is, every adult in America already knows about your products. They already know about your lunch meats and junk food. There's no more money to be made in that demographic. So you have to target the next generation, the kids. And this giant school lunch budget crisis was your perfect way in.
And when you look at lunch, we have about $1.50 to spend on actual food.
That's it.
That's it.
Is that enough? I think it's very, very difficult.
So here's what you did. You formed special exclusivity deals with American schools to get your junk food onto their lunch tables. And for every can of soda or bag of chips sold by the schools to those unsuspecting youngsters, the school got a generous cut. This was a genius move. Not only did this help alleviate the school's funding problem, but it also incentivized schools to peddle your product. But it wasn't just soda and junk food companies that benefited. If you were a bulk food manufacturer like US Foods, Tyson, and Cisco during this time, you were also in luck. Because without government funding, schools no longer had the money to train actual chefs. So what other choice did these schools have but to buy frozen, highly processed, factory-made food from you? So now, big food companies like Cisco that made food for hospitals and prisons were now also nourishing America's youth. Hospital and prison food. Now that sounds tasty. Trained cooks were replaced by the iconic minimum wage lunch ladies.
It's easy to come in here. This is the best tool we got right here.
She mean that.
Box opener.
That's your chef's tools, the box cutter.
That's it. Open
She
up a
mean
box.
that
Serve.
shit. She's
It'll
standing
tell
on
you.
business.
And from
with
that moment forward, school lunches just slowly kept degrading into the sad, processed, chemical-filled state that it's in today.
Kids
But not to
always
worry,
suffer.
because all this garbage food
That shit.
technically still meets USDA standards.
Ugh. We need to raise our fucking standards. This is disgusting. Why did
As
I
a big
choose to
food
watch
conglomerate, if you really want your ultra-processed pizza or lunch meat or chips to be served in cafeterias across the nation, you need to play by the government's rules. Specifically, the rules set up by the USDA. The USDA decided exactly how much sodium, sugar, and fat is allowed in each cafeteria item. And up
Based
until
off the-
2010, their rules were pretty slack. I mean, kids were basically eating airplane food for lunch. Clearly, the government wasn't monitoring things
Look at
too
that.
closely. But as the years went by, the USDA started to notice that school children were getting, well, fatter. According to the Department of Defense, more recruits were being turned away for obesity than...
Yeah, that's why backs is swole now. But it's like they throwing it away, so how is backs getting swole? Because this shit is unhealthy, right?
any other reason. And between the years of 1980 and 2009, obesity rates in teenagers went from 5% to 18%. Maybe it's because kids have been eating food laced with seed oils and toxic chemicals for the past 30 years, but hey, that's just a theory. So the government came to the rescue again, and the USDA tightened its requirements. Now, instead of schools having to offer just one serving of fruits and vegetables at every meal, schools had to at least give students 2 fruit and vegetable servings to choose
that's
from.
gonna make a big
The students
difference.
would be required to take at least one of them. And instead of serving white bread, schools had to serve bread that was at least 50% whole grain. And finally, snacks and entrees needed to be significantly lower in salt, sugar, and fat. Interestingly enough, nowhere in these historic changes did the USDA ever mention a word about reducing the amount of artificial ingredients in school lunches. But regardless, the cafeteria wars had begun. And as a huge corporation whose business model entirely relies on food that's high in salt, sugar, and fat, this is not what you wanted to hear. Now you needed to find a way around all these stupid school lunch rules
Make it
before another
smaller.
food company takes your place. So, what did you do?
Make it
You
smaller.
found a loophole, of course. According to the USDA, every school lunch meal needs to contain at least 1 serving of fruits and vegetables. Okay, but what if you're a company like Domino's and want to serve your pizza slices as a full meal? Pizza is one of the most profitable school lunches for big food, raking in $500 million every year. We can't just give up pizza. But 1 slice of pizza definitely doesn't contain a whole serving of fruits and vegetables, right? Or does it? Think about it like this. 1 slice of pizza has around 2 tablespoons of pizza sauce on it. And those 2 tablespoons of pizza sauce have been cooked down from a larger amount of tomatoes, right? So
Word.
really, that little bit of pizza sauce is equal to 8 tablespoons of raw tomatoes.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, man. When shit get tight, motherfuckers get real crafty and slimy. That's some slimy technicality bullshit right there. Oh yeah, you know, this 1 slice of pizza contains 3 tomatoes, and when you break those 3 tomatoes down, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tablespoons of tomato sauce, which means that's a serving of vegetables for you. Not just 1 serving, but 2 servings. Get the fuck out of here, man. They be bullshit. Fucking bullshit. So you mean to tell me 1 slice of fucking pizza counts as your whole meal for the day at school? They just be making up some bullshit, man. And don't get me wrong, I fuck with Domino's and all. I'll fuck up about a good half a box. You know what I mean? I get a medium pizza, I could probably fuck up half a box. But give me the munchies, got the munchies now, boom. I could run through that shit. Give me about 4-5 hours. That shit is gone. Gone. But being in school, don't let me be in high school and you just give me 1 slice? Oh no, we're not doing that. Yo, run it back. Yo, give me my fucking pizza, man. Stop playing. Give me the box, dog. What, we rationing around here? The fuck is we doing?
Which equals 1 serving of vegetables under the USDA guidelines. And boom. Schwan Food Company's iconic rectangle pizza, or Domino's Smart Slice, are
bacon
now
on it.
officially USDA school lunch approved. And what about the low sodium thing? Hey, no problem. No need to reformulate or lower the actual amount of sodium. Just package your chips into smaller bags. That way each serving will technically have lower sodium because there's less chips.
Why do they allow that? Why do they let the technicalities like slip through the cracks like that? That's some bullshit. That is some wild ass shit. Oh yeah, we're gonna give the same thing, but instead of you getting half a bag of air, we're gonna give you, 3/4 a bag worth of air. Leave you 25% worth of chips instead of 50% worth of chips. I reduced the sodium. Yeah, get the fuck. Yo, these motherfuckers.
Itself is still the same horrible concoction it was before, just a little downsized and perfect for tiny hands. And since you're technically following the rules, the USDA can't really say anything about it.
Why not?
Another change to the USDA's rules were that school meals have to have less starchy vegetables, also known as French fries, which means that your beloved crinkle-cut fries, your curly fries, your smiley face fries, they were all under attack. So, the potato and frozen food lobbies mobilized, orchestrating waves of letters from lawmakers to Tom Vilsack, the agriculture secretary, that extolled the potato's low cost and high potassium content.
People being sick and fat. I agree. They want us to be big backs and all fucked up so that we can keep paying them to make us better, and for us to run back out there, get something to eat and shit, and get all fucked up again and run back to the. I mean, it's a never-ending cycle. It's a never-ending cycle. They getting paid both ways. They getting paid for when we fucked up, and then they get paid for when we about to go fuck something up.
Vilsack went before the Senate to discuss his budget request for the year. Senator Susan Collins of Maine, a state that is one of the country's largest producer of spuds, marched into the hearing holding a potato in one hand and a head of iceberg lettuce in the other.
My question, Mr. Secretary, is what does the department have against potatoes?
And so the potato and frozen food lobbies won. Potatoes were now officially a vegetable. And yes, that includes French fries.
Damn. French fries is a vegetable? Did I hear that right?
Officially a vegetable.
What? French fries? Potatoes? Potatoes a vegetable? French fries is counted as a vegetable serving? These motherfuckers is crafty,
And
man.
yes, that includes French fries.
Duh. It's a sliced up potato. That's wild. I love French fries though. And pizza. That's the crazy part. Grade A carcinogens. Oh shit, here we go. This shit that make you scared. This shit that scares you.
These are the worst school lunches in the United States of America, sent to us by our followers.
Today, school cafeteria food is in the most abysmal state it has ever been in, while masquerading as health. Take Domino's, for example. Domino's serves their smart...
Why they keep coming at Domino's like that? Or is Domino's the only one smart enough to be like, yo, let me get my pizza up in these schools and shit? Which one is it?
Slice pizza in over 13,000 schools across the US.
Not
and
my
these
school.
smart slice pizzas have 33% less fat and 50% less sodium than the original version. So it must be healthier, right?
Hell no.
Not really. On the ingredients list, you'll find soybean oil, a seed oil, maltodextrin, a food additive that increases your likelihood of developing autoimmune disorders, including Crohn's disease, and sodium propionate, a preservative that has been shown to cause damage to the dopamine system in animal subjects. Ah yes, we're sure the Domino's Smart Slice makes children very intelligent. Or take the snack food giant.
Ooh. See, no, this is not our Domino's. This is the Domino's that they make and send it to the children. We cool. The children gotta get the makeup stuff, so they gotta reduce other crap, so they fill it in with other crap that's horrible for you. We got the less as horrible for you shit in our pizza.
Frito-Lay. They've got a whole collection of smart snacks for schools. And these school-friendly products seem healthier, but in reality, they're pretty much just the same as the original grocery store version.
Interesting, when we tested the study the first time, we saw this, and so we thought, well, what if we put these two products side by side? Can they tell the difference?
Nope.
And even then, they had trouble telling. They were different products.
GMO corn and seed oils included. And these processed foods aren't being served as a once-in-a-while treat. Kids are getting fed these abominations every single school day.
You get 2 bags of Ruffles, a pretzel, a Twix bar, and a Gatorade.
And apparently, it's making them dumber.
USDA qualifications, they good. That's fine. That was 2 vegetables, water, hydration, and a starch.
According to Roland Zullo, a researcher at the University of Michigan, found that schools that served pre-cooked meals from private companies had lower test scores than schools who cooked food from scratch.
Run that the fuck back.
A researcher at the University of Michigan, found that schools that served pre-cooked meals from private companies had lower test scores than schools who cooked food from scratch.
I could tell you why. I could tell you the fuck why. Y'all want to know why? I'm about to tell you why. The reason why the bullshit food reflected the lesser test grades and grades overall is because the kids is still the fuck hungry. They not eating that bullshit, so they hungry. And they already upset when they walk through the door because they know they coming from the crib possibly gonna be hungry all fucking day. And then especially ones coming from situations where school might be the only time they can really get something legit to eat, right? So there they pissed. They get to school. What time the average school start now? 7:45. So now, and you got to get on the bus and shit. So you get on the bus, boom. You waking up 6:30. You get dressed. You mad because you know you about to go into school and they about to serve you some bullshit. Wouldn't you be mad if you had to wake up and go to a place every fucking day and know that you about to get served some bullshit? You ain't got to eat it, but you about to get served some bullshit. Because that's how these kids feel. So they like, man, if y'all don't give a fuck about me enough to feed me, why the fuck would I even try? And then I know that's when, like, you know, parents come in and raising their kids and all that good stuff. But man, I'll be pissed, man. You serving me that bullshit. You serving me this bullshit. Man, fuck your lunch and these fucking tests. And fuck your homework, dog. You ain't feed me, so fuck make you think about to do your work at my crib. I'm hungry as shit. And you got the nerve to be asking me 1x plus b to the 4th power. Fuck out of here, man. How about you 1 + 1 them fucking eggs and bacon in that kitchen and bring that shit to my fucking plate? Fuck wrong with you? I'll be hungry as shit. The fuck Lunchables. Man, my
but
bad,
the
y'all,
biggest
my bad.
slap in the face is a newcomer on the school lunch block, Lunchables.
Yes, yeah. And then they got the nerve to try to play them like they slow or something. These kids aren't dumb. These kids want to learn. They just hungry as shit, man. Hungry as fuck. I'll be hungry as shit. Like,
I would be the fuck hungry, starving. Make my shit fresh, right? Boom, I'm full. You know what I'm about to do on a full stomach? I got the energy to learn. I can't learn shit while I'm hungry, man. You ever try to hold a conversation with a motherfucker that's hungry? If hunger will make a motherfucker steal or kill, fuck make you think what's gonna do to a kid when they in school? Hungry as shit. I'm starving. Back shrinking. Stomach touching my back. And you about to give me this funky ass cat and dog food mashed together to form in a burger. Put it on a dry ass, brick ass piece of bun, right? Nope. Okay. 3 packets of ketchup for my veggie. And this old ass milk that I'm getting confused with fucking yogurt. I don't know if this is milk or fucking yogurt. I don't know. And I'm hungry. Throw that shit away. Good job, y'all. Stand up for y'all shit, children. Stand the fuck up.
Lunchables. Just about the most ultra-processed food you could feed a child is now available in your school lunch. And just like Domino's, Lunchables are so terrible that they had to design a special version to be accepted into the school lunch program. But it's still terrible all the same. So now, America's future can choose 2 specially designed meals when they line up for lunch. Turkey and cheddar cracker stackers, or Lunchables extra cheesy pizza. And yes, these special Lunchables do have slightly better macros than the ones in the grocery store. But you want to know what else they have? Glyphosate sprayed wheat. They also have nitrates, a type of food additive that has been associated with higher rates of breast and prostate cancer, and sodium phosphate, an emulsifier that has been linked to chronic kidney disease, and the list goes on. As the old adage says, you are what you eat. And if you let Big Food feed your kids are gonna become exactly what Big Food wants them to be. Fat, sick, dumb, and addicted. But it's not just food that's toxic in America. Our water supply is also insanely disgusting.
The water
and it's
is
not just
fucked up.
fluoride that
I
we're talking
heard that.
about. Our tap water also contains a whole cocktail of chemicals that have been known to cause diseases like cancer, obesity, birth defects, and lowered IQ. And we're not just talking about tap water here. It's bottled water too. Actually, bottled water might even be worse.
What?
And in our next video, we are going to expose it all and go over what you can do about it. So make sure you subscribe. And be sure to click the square on the screen to sign up for our free newsletter to get breaking news about our food supply, to protect yourself and the people.
What? That's fucking crazy. Ho. Don't talk bad about the tap water. Ain't nothing wrong with a little sip from the spigot every now and then. That water hose water, that thing just hit different. You know what I'm saying?